What's up, everybody? Listen, how's it going? We have an amazing session today. And you know what? I have just been in such a great mood because of all the amazing things that have been happening. I like to dance. So thank you for joining me. Put in comments where you're coming from. Um, and just tell us more about who you are. Listen, we're a community. We're here. We're about to have a good time. Okay. So I'm just excited because I have a great session for you today. Um, let's get started. So hi everyone, my name is Uche Maple. I right now am helping people with job strategy sessions and job strategy techniques and tools on how they can find jobs in today's marketplace. And yes, let me say this. Yes, there's a lot happening, but just like there's a lot happening, people are still getting hired today. So today what we're going to talk about is why your job search isn't working. And yes, it's probably something that you're doing. Yep. Okay. Y'all ready to get started? All right. Come on, put in comments. Tell me where you're coming from. I'm excited. So let's get started. So we're going to fix the purpose of this session today is really targeting you using social media platforms, specifically LinkedIn. And what we're going to talk about today is what do you need to do differently that you haven't done before, that people aren't even telling you, and that you really need to be doing, especially in today's time. All right. So let's get started. So, the real reason you're not landing interviews and how to fix it without burning out. So, yeah, what's the real reason you're not landing interviews? Right. And the goal here today is how we're going to fix it without burning out. Because oftentimes, I always tell people finding a job is like a job in itself. So you want to make sure that you are taking the time that you need because you can get burnt out and overwhelmed. And when that happens, your whole strategy on how you're going to find a job goes away. It's no longer relevant because now you're just applying just to apply. So who's this training for? This training is for anyone who's been let go, specifically 2024 or even 2025 or any prior. And if you haven't found a job within the last 6 months, this training is for you. If you haven't had any interviews in the last 6 to 9 months, this training is for you. You have been applying for jobs and you haven't heard back. You feel out of touch. You're going to all of these different trainings on how to find a job, and you may do some of that, but you're not doing everything. Let me say this: when I'm having these trainings, you can't go half and half. You have to do all of it in order to stand out in today's environment because other people are doing half and half, right? One thing I had mentioned, I was looking at a post on Glassdoor, and they said 66% of applications get rejected because people don't fill them out. So do you want to be part of that 66 or the 34? Exactly. And the reality is that the job market is brutal right now. When people are saying that, for one, especially for remote work, any type of remote work, they're getting hundreds and hundreds of applications. Hundreds. And one of the challenges that people who are not even qualified are applying. So you got to figure out, like, how can I stand out above the noise? And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to dive in deep on how you can stand out more. Yes, people are ghosting after interviews. This is new. They're saying that you're underqualified or overqualified. And then you're applying and not hearing anything. So if you've been doing that, what I want you to do is to stop doing some of these. Quit applying. Just stop applying for right now. Give yourself a day. And after you do this session, I want you to start applying because now you're going to have a different technique and strategy moving forward. Okay. And let me say this. I hope your resume is not 9 pages or 3 pages. Your resume needs to be 2 pages. I'm just going to put that out there. A 2-page resume. Yeah, I don't care if you've been working 40 years, 20 years. You need to have a 2-page resume. Okay, I'm done. So here's my promise to you today. You'll walk away knowing what has been keeping you stuck and how to get unstuck using LinkedIn and some type of behavioral strategy, right? Behavior strategy is how to attract the right jobs to you. So, hi everyone, my name is Uche Mayfield. I'm a uh, former engineering executive. You're never a former anything. So, engineering executive and now entrepreneur with over 20 years experience in the aerospace and defense industry. And my personal pivot was when I went from engineering into entrepreneurship, and I'm a certified Gallup coach. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn right now, at Uche Anye Maple. I'm always posting um, tips and techniques on how you can stand out in today's marketplace, not just on LinkedIn, but period. How you can, what are some of the things that you need to do so that you are not with the rest of the community who are looking for jobs. You really want to make sure that you stand out above all of them, and you do because you're here today. So what we're going to cover is how you can gain visibility on LinkedIn without constantly posting and chasing roles. Okay. The second thing is why your experience alone isn't enough to get you noticed. Oftentimes, that's just the reality. We may say, "Oh, well, I've been doing this for a long time." That doesn't mean anything. And even if even if we didn't have all those massive layoffs, the experience never alone what got you noticed. And it's really how you show up and what kind of value you're bringing on. So you're gonna keep hearing me say this. What problem are you can solve? What problem can you solve for that company? It's not what you can do. They're looking for problem solvers now, and the problem solvers are the one getting the money. And also, simple storytelling shift that can turn your LinkedIn profile into a magnet for the right opportunities. And if you stay to the end, I have a bonus gift for you. Yes. So here's my story. Like, Uche, what made you get into this? So whether or not you believe it or not, back in the 2000s, late 2000s, middle 2000s, 2008, 2009, for those of you who remember, there was a shift that happened. We had a new leadership team in the government, and at that time they were slashing government programs. Like, on that line item by line item, they were like, "We're get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this." And at that time, for me, unfortunately, I was one of the ones who got laid off. I got laid off while I was on maternity leave. I got laid off. I remember I was trying to come back to work, and my manager at the time, he said, "Have you not heard what was going on?" I said, "No," because I just had a baby. I'm taking care of my kid. He was like, "Uche, we are laying off." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "Unfortunately, you have been put on furlough." He said, "It's so bad that your old manager got your job." And I was like, "Wow, that's insane." So that was my introduction into being laid off in time where during the world in the United States where a lot was happening. This was the housing crisis. This is when people were they had bought all those expensive homes and they were worth less than that. People were losing their jobs. You had gurus coming on, TV talking about take out your 401k, don't pay your bills. It was an insane time. But let me say this. Me and my spouse, if you can imagine coming from a two-person household income into a one-person household income, it was very challenging and it was a reality check for us. And I knew that we would not be able to survive, especially with two kids, on one income just because we had been living as a two-parent system. So one of the things I had to do from there, I had to really change my mindset. Because if you can imagine just now when you're going on social media, you're hearing people saying, "I can't find a job. I've been finding all these jobs." Well, this is what I was seeing on the news at that time. $60,000, 60,000 jobs lost in one day. The industry struggle. It was between 2 to 3 years, 5 million jobs had been cut. So this is every day waking up to this. It was very challenging. So one of the decisions I decided not to do, I'm just turning off the news channel. And I did what I did best. I said, you're going to go find a job. And this is what the job search landscape looked like. It was all over the place. But one thing I did that I knew in that moment, right, because it wasn't about me, it was about me, our family's livelihood, was you have to get focused. So I leaned on the skills that I knew as an engineer was strategy. It was strategy. So Uche, what are you going to do for the strategy, right? And as a result of that, here are three things that I did. Three things that I did was I had to become adaptable, I had to become flexible, and I had to become intentional. So when you say, well, Uche, what does that mean? We had to be willing, at that point, we had to be willing to change our environment that we were in. Because the city that we were in, there was only one employer that had employed 15,000 people. They went from 15 to 7,000. So we had to be willing to be adaptable and flexible and come to terms and say, what states are we willing to move to so that that's the area that I can focus on. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing was getting a resume. And I applied to that one resume that lined out what job, which was a systems engineering job. I knew the 5 top companies that I was going to apply for. And those are the companies I applied for. And every time they had a rec. So between identifying the states where those companies were, having one job, it was just one role. I didn't have multiple roles. It was one because I knew this is what we needed. It was one role and I was applying to multiple jobs a week. And I also went to strategic career fairs where I knew that they were either going to do, offers on site and interviews on site. And yes, I did have to travel and spend my own money. I'm just going to be 100 with you. I did do that. But because I did that, and that took maybe 6 months. Yeah, that took maybe 6 months. So after I was furloughed, 6 months after that, that's how I did the strategy. And I said, we talked to my husband, I was like, listen, we're going to even embrace being a contractor. So we were embracing numerous things because of the situation. And because of that, I actually got 2 offers. I had multiple interviews, but I got 2 offers. And these offers were the offers that I was looking for. The first offer was with this company. I had actually forgot. When I was creating the slide deck, I had forgot that I had got this offer. But this is the offer that I got. This is the first one that has my salary, signing bonus, and everything. So the strategy that I did worked because I was intentional. And the second offer was from a contracting company where they brought me in as a contractor. And eventually the company that I was subcontracting for, they hired me on as a permanent employee. And not only that, they hired my husband as well. Facts. So these are real results. Adaptability, flexible intention, and focusing on who and what company that I was interviewing for. Because those companies that I was interviewing for, they were winning contracts. And the way that I had to do this, I had to remove the false beliefs, right? And in 2025, it's not that much different, except that it's technology driven. The false belief that I had to remove was, Uche, your goal is to apply to enough jobs. Something will stick. False. That didn't work then, and it's not going to work in 2025. Because job boards are just overcrowded. And these applicant tracking systems, when they're getting 900 resumes for one remote job, and if you're not answering the questions, you are immediately removed. That's why you have to be intentional. And what happens when you're applying and it does, and hoping something will stick and it doesn't? You get discouraged, you lose confidence, and then all of a sudden you find yourself applying to a lot of things. No. So that's the first belief, false belief that has to be removed. The second one is my resume is the most important part of my job search. No, it's important, but it's not the most important. Because right now, and I'm going to show you in a later presentation of what the hiring manager has said about what they are doing. Resumes are skimmed through. When I get a resume, when I was a hiring manager and I'm getting a resume, I'm looking for keywords because I know exactly what I know exactly what's on the rec, and I'm looking for keywords here. Right? And now we're looking at your online presence. So we may get, let's say we have a top 10. We're not going and looking and seeing, okay, are they, how can we even filter this down maybe to the top 3? Has anyone contacted me on my LinkedIn? Right? What does their LinkedIn profile look like? Are they posting anything? Are they communicating their value? Are they even speaking at conferences that demonstrates their expertise? Have they written any papers? Have they collaborated? I'm looking at all that because I'm trying to filter out, because I have so many great resumes. Now I'm filtering just to bring you in for an interview, because I can't bring 10 people in. So I'm going to filter to the top 3. And what happens when you spend so much time on that resume? You spend hours formatting and perfecting it. Your application still get unnoticed, and you start guessing yourself. At the end of the day, the resume is great, but your positioning and your strategy is what speaks for you. And the last false belief was that, especially now that LinkedIn is just a digital resume, let me just go put in my resume, all my tasks get in there, and that's it. No, it doesn't work in 2025. Listen, your activity, your profile positioning matter more now than ever. And I'm going to show you what it means to position yourself in your About Me section. It is a visibility machine. It's not a static page. And don't worry about like, oh, I don't have that many followers. So what? You're not an influencer. You just need the right 10 people to follow you. You just need the right 10 people to make a comment on what you're saying. You just need the right 10 people when you connect with them to say yes. All you need is one yes. Because when you're not engaging, you have a profile of no engagement. So they may not even think and it shows on there, when was the last time you was on LinkedIn? You're relying on applying. And if you've been applying, that's not working. And then after a while, you start feeling like, okay, I'm applying, and then my stuff goes into a black abyss. Like, where is it? The truth is, in order to get seen more, LinkedIn for you is an advantage. And credibility is built. You don't have to travel. You may not have to travel as much as I did when I had to go to those networking events, right? You may have to. I'm saying you may not have to travel as much because you now have LinkedIn. So you want to be able to utilize the tool. So here are 3 secrets on how you can gain momentum on LinkedIn. Let me know what kind of comments do you guys have. Go ahead and put the comments in. Let me know what kind of comments. What has been stopping you as of right now from finding a job? What do you think? Do you think it's because so many people are applying? Do you think it's because, your resume may not even be, you have 9 or 8 pages? Do you think it's that you haven't identified what role you are looking for? Or are you still trying to stay in the same industry that's saturated? Right now in the state of Maryland, they were saying that the top 3 industries, one is healthcare, the other is biohealth, and another one is cybersecurity IT. If your industry is not here, are you trying to force it to work? And hence you're getting and it's making you frustrated. So the first one is the visibility. You don't have a resume problem, you have a relevance problem. So you have your resume, but when I go to your LinkedIn profile, what does it say? Do you have a profile picture up? And if your profile picture is up, is it like this? Is it like this where no one can see you? Is that we can't really see who you are? Is it a professional picture? If you're like, I don't have one, get your phone and just take a professional picture against uh, a white background. Make your face up. You'll be good. Don't put a lot of, do not put a lot of time and energy in it. And the recruiters and hiring managers who are looking at your profile, they're scanning for relevance. Like, what are you doing in today's market that can be used today and not just experience? Oftentimes, when you look at your resume, you may have legacy tools and software that are not relevant today. So you want to make sure that you are upgrading and using the right language on your LinkedIn profile. You want to gain visibility, especially when you're connecting to people. They're going to go and look at your profile to see who you are. And when they go to your profile, baby, you want it to stand out. You want them to say, okay, who is this? And that they tell other people. Because here's the thing too. Sometimes people create opportunities for you because you're so goddamn amazing. I'm going to let that sit in there. So right now, let's just do a test. I want you to Google your name. Google your name. I'm going to bring this up because I'm going to Google my name. I Google people's name, especially when I was hiring. So I'm going to Google my name. And this is what comes up. IEEE. And then let me Google areas that I was known for, which was systems engineering. And now it has, when I was systems engineering manager, talks about my LinkedIn, talks about here, when I was woman of the week, here, I was on the show. Here's my point. What are you known for? Right now, do me a favor, Google your name. What comes up? It's okay, share. Share. What comes up? Does anybody want to share with me what comes up? Anybody? Does anybody want to share? Nobody? Nobody wants to share? Nobody? This is the first time no one is sharing. Anybody? Okay. Well, see what your LinkedIn profile says. Because that's going to be, that's interesting because that's what people do. They're Googling it. I want to make sure that, can you guys hear me? Yes? Hold on. Now I'm going online just to make sure you guys can hear me. Probably like, Uche, what are you doing? I got to make sure. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so you can hear me. Okay. So you can hear me. I just had to make sure. So thank you, Exclusive Auto Club. When you Google your name, what comes up? And just put it in chat. What comes up when you Google your name? But these are just some of the examples of, for your area of expertise, when people are Googling you or when they go to LinkedIn, that's some of the things that they do. And I'm not saying that you have to do all of this. What I am saying is that for LinkedIn, you can do that. That is very simple. Okay. So here's the second thing. This is what I saw this morning. A manager had posted on LinkedIn, and again, she had posted a job application for a social media associate position. More than likely, it's probably remote. She said they received over 900 applications, right? 900. And she said, I have about 30 seconds to determine who gets a closer look. She said, here are 10 things that you won't get past my screening. Typos. Basic stuff. When you're applying for jobs, when you know, because they have a filtering system. Yes, you upload your resume, but then they ask questions. Are you when you're answering, are you even answering in a professional manner? She said typos. She said listing your desired salary as double that was posted. Why apply? A 9-page resume saying your why is honestly because I need a better job. So for her, they asked, what made you decide to apply to this job? I need a better job. Not bothering to answer a few short questions on the application. Remember I said that. Glassdoor says 66% of the applications get rejected because people don't answer all of the questions on the application. People asking for less than they post in the posted salary. And that's something interesting because they probably were like, if I ask for less, that means that I'll get that they'll probably look at me or probably interview me. That actually is no, because if you post less, it's, well, then your skills and capability is less. I'm getting less than what I'm paying for. Don't have the qualifications for the job. Typos again. Your resume is smaller than an 8-point font. And then if they're just asking questions, you're sharing your personal information. When it comes to, okay, so here's an example. You got the visibility. But now that you got it, now we're making these mistakes. Be on your guard, everyone. Every time you're submitting an application, always check for typos. There's no reason why we should have typos in today's environment with all the technology that we have. Don't ever go below the salary than they're asking for. Don't ask for less. And when they ask you, why did you apply for this job? Have your story, have your elevator pitch on why you applied. And it always has to go back to your skills, your capabilities, the problems you solve, and you match that to why you applied. So again, when I talk about the example, 900 applications, probably for remote. So now in her comments, she's now going to start using AI as a differentiator, which is probably to have everything. Like they need to have all of this, because to go through 900 is insane. But what's even more insane is when people have typos. 9-page resume. And you're submitting something that people can barely see. Okay? Yes, yes? All right. The second secret is the attraction secret. The best jobs aren't posted, they're pulled toward you. And I say that because when you are engaging with people on LinkedIn, that's important. What I showed here is an example of a post that I did. Probably can't see it. I had talked about something about Gallup post about, its impact and about disengaged employees, because I also do work in the workplace environment for team building. And someone I knew reached out to me and she said, hey, I was just checking your services and wondering if I can find out more. The point is that she had been watching what I was posting. So, because here's the thing, when the opportunity comes up,